No black cats, just straight facts.
PPP Certified.
Listen, we can talk about odds all day. It doesn't matter what the odds are. It matters what's gonna happen.
Welcome to the Triple P, the Perfect Parlay Pursuit. I'm joined as always by Alex, the Real Winner King, and Danny, the Betman. Bitman, Danny, what's good?
Not much, man. Coming off a pretty epic fight night. 9 out of 12 over here. Interesting to hear what you guys got on that. No profit, though, and that's what the people are here. So,
well, you had one really good parlay that I saw going into the last two fights. So what went wrong for you? Yeah, what went wrong for you?
Fucking Mark Casey taking down Slaviklov like it was nobody's business. That's what went wrong. Aside from that, I had two other losses, which were Dvorak, the Dvorak fight. I had Dvorak in that one, and one other fight, which I'll figure it out. But yeah, no profit over here. So not
Alex,
the best.
How about you? What was your record on the night?
Not good, man. I think I got 6. Yeah, I got 6. 6 out of 12, so 500. Not a good night for me whatsoever. I don't know, just one of those nights. Jennifer Maia really let me down, man.
I'll tell you what, Jennifer Maia did not let me down. I was glad that you pulled me over to the Maia side of things when I saw her landing those head kicks. I saw a lot of cage control. I think that Jennifer Maia really made that fight a lot closer than the odds indicated. And like the reality is her moments were short, I guess, kind of in like spurts throughout the rounds, whereas every round Man and Fiorot had many minutes of domination. But there were these little spurts, which showed her like she's definitely still, I would compare her to like an Anthony Smith, I think she's like an Anthony Smith of the women's division right now. Like she's not going to be champ, but she'll surprise you as a big dog a few times, like with some people who a lot of folks are going to judge as like better because she's a workman's fighter. She's decent everywhere. And she showed us that with that head kick. I mean, that was beautiful. But that wasn't really what disappointed me. Slaviklov, all the wincing, we should have known better. That body shot that he took Dakota Bush out with was sweet, but we should have known that this guy had weaknesses. I just never would have expected a guy from Russia, even if he is a kickboxer, I still would have expected him to come across more wrestling in his life than a guy from England or Liverpool or wherever Jacasey's from. It's like, I think at the end of the day, it's like, I still was very shocked and surprised. That reminded me of like Paul Daly versus Michael Venom Page, you know what I mean? Where like suddenly like two kickboxers are in a wrestling match. It's like, that was ridiculous. Yeah, I thought that fight was going to be in front of the live audience. They put it there for a reason. These guys are going to do their job. They're going to go iron on iron and sling bones, and someone's going to be left standing. And I saw Slaviklov as the more hearty, more durable fighter in terms of chin and kickboxing like pedigree. But that one was really disappointing. That sunk my ship at the end of the day. But I went 6 out of 6 as well. And, for you to go 9 out of 12, that's fantastic. Alex and I to go 6 out of 6. That is not fantastic, guys. The show is called The Perfect Parlay Pursuit. You can ask my girlfriend. I was in shambles Saturday night. I was very disappointed in myself. It rolled all the way into Sunday. I was in a bad mood. I have a bad taste in my mouth today. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today, and I've not been having a good day at all. 6 out of 12. Even though it's 50%, I mean, if you watch some of these other gambling channels like Barstool Sports during the football season, they're like, you would think they're aiming for 50%. And I know football is a lot, harder, I guess, to bet on than MMA, but a lot of bettors, like, they're aiming for 50%. We're aiming for 100% here, guys. We're aiming for the perfect parlay. It's been done before. It'll be done again. Dan has hit it. I have hit it. We are closing in. I can smell it. I'm taking a look at the records for year 2. So far, Alex and I and Dan, we've given you 444 picks in year 2 so far, divine number. So I gotta say this is gonna be a divine card, a divine breakdown. Yes, me and Alex went 6 out of 12 last Saturday night, but before that I went 10 out of 12 at UFC London, 9 out of 14 UFC Vegas 50, 8 out of 13 UFC 272, 8 out of 11 UFC Vegas 49. So we're having really great nights here. And my overall record, 284 out of 444. That's 63.9% accurate. Alex is trailing me ever so slightly with 63% accuracy as well. But his rounds down to 63, mine rounds up to 64 technically. So I'm just edging him ever so slightly here. Dan is trailing us both. He's at 60%. And we are missing data from 2 events for Dan that I have to go back and find. But those events that we're missing data from, I went 10 out of 13 and Alex went 11 out of 13. We went 9 out of 11 Triple P certified. That's UFC 266. So if you go find that, Dan, I'll bet that was a good night for you, and that'll probably lift you way above 60%, possibly even 266 and also 269, where Alex and I both went 9 out of 14, and we had a perfect 4 out of 4 Triple P certified parlay. So you have to have gone well that night too, because the Triple P, both of those nights went so well. You were a part of that. So UFC 266, UFC 269, those are the only 2 events I'm missing data from you for, but your record is still 60%. And Triple P certified picks, 72.5% in year 2 so far, 145 out of 200. I got to go and crunch the numbers for. So what do we do Triple P certified for Blades versus Daukus? Let's see. Let me find this real quick, unless you guys have it top of mind.
Did we all have Brian Barberena, or Alex? Were you
Alex
alone?
Brown. So that brings me to a good point. Let's begin breaking down. I really want to, we're on a break week, guys, so we're going to do a really in-depth recap of Blades versus Daukus, because I think there's a lot we could have learned, especially Alex and I going 6 out of 12. I think there's a lot we can kind of comb through and guide us going into next week. But also, I want to offer a proposition to Alex and Dan here live. I haven't brought this up to them yet. I'm thinking, since this is a break week and we're going to have to come back next Monday anyway, and we're going to have to do the full card again, because we're going to have probably made some changes. And we have MMA Lock of the Night next Monday. So he's going to come for at least the main card breakdown next Monday. And I'm thinking that's Manpreet Joss from MMA Lock of the Night, one of the best in the business, has so many of the great coaches from Mark Montoya to James Krause, all on his podcast. So we're happy to have him. He's coming over next Monday. Since we're going to have to run through it all anyway next Monday, what I'm proposing is let's drop full picks, main card and prelims to the YouTube channel, but I'll drop it to the Patreon first tonight, and then I'll drop it to I'll make it live on the YouTube tomorrow morning. So we'll give the Patreon first access to the early predictions, and then next week when we are giving our weekly predictions again, we'll go back to Patreon only prelims. Now it's up to you guys. You guys can veto me with this if you want. If you want to say no prelims for the YouTube audience this week, that is fine too. We'll do just the main card, and then we'll drop the Patreon ones as well. So we'll go 2 out of 3 and see what we'll do here.
Well, I don't want to be the bad guy on air, so let's give the people what they want here. I mean, what am I going to say? I got a camera.
It's early. It's a deviation week. It's a break week. Technically, I think it would be fair to the Patreon audience if we drop it for them. We drop it for them first tonight. Full card breakdown. This just saves me a little bit of time. Now I don't have to do 2 videos. Now I don't have to do 2 edits. I don't have to put it on the page. I can just do 1 and done for this week. And next week we're giving you Manpreet, so that's a little special treasure. And we're still giving you Patreon people first access to it, but we'll just put the full episode on YouTube. Or should we not? I don't know.
You already put it out there, so now if you take it back, that's
I'm
not a good look on you.
I'm taking it back. We're doing main card only on the YouTube. All right. I thought about it. That's not fair to the Patreon people. We got plenty of Patreon people in there. But if you're in the Patreon, leave a comment and let us know where you stand on this debate. If you would mind something like that, as long as we gave first access to the Patreon. I'm just trying to be a people pleaser, guys. I'm coming to you 6 out of 12. I feel like I got to bring something. After 6 out of 12. But we'll talk. We'll see how we feel by the end of the main card breakdown. But for now, let's just kind of take everybody through Blades versus Daukus. As far as Triple P certified picks go, let's see. I have it right here. Grasso, Latifi, Magny, Borishev, and Kizraev. Borishev would be the only one who let us down. Latifi didn't happen. So we went 3 for 4 on Triple P certified, 75%. Not bad. Definitely going to lift our average from 72.5. So 3 out of 4. I'll enter it right now. Borishev, man, we should have known. Jacasey is definitely a vet, and Borishev is only his second fight in the UFC, but he just seems mature. I don't know. So let's take everybody through this card. Bruno Souza versus Luis Saldana. Guys, I had to fight for Souza. I don't think I'm being crazy here when I say that Bruno Souza won that fight. Saldana landed a couple, he had a couple good moments, but I think Souza, everybody complained that he's a boring fighter, but he was counter-striking while advancing. He was putting his opponent in this kind of illusion where his opponent felt like, oh, he's closing on me, but really he was bouncing in and out of range so slightly while walking him down. It was very beautiful. I thought it was a great fight style. It was exciting. I love seeing Lyoto Machida have a prodigy in there. I'm a big Bruno Souza guy. I'm going to bet him again. But I like seeing Saldana chug those beers at the end. He must have been wasted chugging all those beers, walking out after his win. No shame. I can't say that I thought he won the fight, but, no shame taking that win and running home with it.
Oh, Alex didn't see the fights. Okay, yeah. Saldana, I thought he won. I can see your point. It was a very close fight, and to your point, to your credit, having Saldana, maybe it was just the bias and the fear of having him winning it. As far as my picks, Souza seemed to be advancing more, having more volume. I'd have to check the numbers on that, but I thought he had more strikes than it. At least it seemed. And probably an equal amount of big shots as well. So I wasn't confident. I think that maybe Saldana might have out-edged him a little bit there at the end, but I was scared. I was sweating it the whole way. So,
and he was also doing at the end, he was like kind of cheering the crowd on and stuff. It's like, what are you giving points to a guy who's dropping his hands, who's taunting? I thought the judges in Columbus, Ohio, those are blue-collar guys, man. I thought that they were gonna like kind of see that as like, oh, fuck this guy. You've been getting chased down the whole fight here. You've been like backing up, and your opponent's supposed to be the counter striker. So I guess also knowing that, I'm kind of grading it on a curve and seeing the improvement in Souza. I thought the judges were pretty inept in that one. And this next one, I thought they robbed my man David Dvorak of a draw because, yeah, round 2 was brutal, but I think round 1, you got to give it to Dvorak for, again, the advancing pressure. Matheus Nicolau threw 6 strikes in round 1. You're going to tell me he won backing up and throwing 6 strikes? Dvorak had to have thrown more than 6. He was advancing the whole time. His stance was clean. His stance was good. I loved the tension. I didn't mind like the crowd, the drunken beer-drinking audience in Heroinville, Ohio. I didn't mind that like it was kind of boring because I knew the potentiality of this encounter, and I was waiting for it on pins and needles. And it happened. It happened in round 2. He clipped him right on the hairline, just like Johnny Walker got clipped. He fell just like Johnny Walker fell, and the only difference is he kind of woke himself up and didn't get hit with that follow-up shot that Jamal Hill delivered, and he kind of was able to withstand it. Also, he's from the Czech Republic. He's clearly HTK. He's the grave digger. He's the Undertaker. He's the grave walker, if you ask me. He's walking as a ghost in round 2 and in round 3. At one point, I told my girlfriend, I saw him, he kind of looked and pointed. He was like, I'm good. He pointed, he gave a thumbs up. And I was like, who the hell is he pointing to? His corner's like behind him. And she's like, he's pointing to the invisible man that he sees right now from taking that shot. It was hilarious. But I just pictured like the NFL episode of South Park where the guy's like, and now he's pretending to start his imaginary vehicle. He's starting his imaginary car, and he's got his keys there. He's putting it in reverse, and now he's backing away. He thinks he's in his car. Like that was Dvorak in that moment. Hilarious. But he, in my opinion, won round 3. It was very close. Matheus Nicolau came out gunslinging round 3, very beginning. But Dvorak was able to withstand that, eventually get top position for at least a minute and a half, if not 2 minutes of the 3rd round. And in that moment, guys, that right there is when the going gets tough. And David Dvorak, the tough, got going. Matheus Nicolau kind of wilted in that moment. There was a transitionary moment where he's going for a leg lock. Dvorak ends up on top. It's like, guys, all things equal, the round 3, that's won by the guy with the biggest heart. He had the biggest heart. He got the win. Matheus Nicolau melted in that moment and accepted bottom position in an otherwise close fight, resting on his laurels, kind of like he did the whole fight. He would land a big shot, and then you would kind of just retreat and do nothing and sandbag a little bit. His girlfriend was in his corner. I did remark how he just finally got active when his girlfriend was like bitching at him a lot. Like his girlfriend finally, you started hearing her in the corner getting on his ass, and then that's when he got active. And I was like, damn, something to be said for that, I guess. But they want to be the first, male-female couple champion. That's cool and all, but I thought it was a draw. 10-8 second round for Nicolau, 1-3 to Dvorak. 10-9 makes it 28-28. Let's go. It should have been a draw. Should have been a push. I would have had a lot of bets still alive at that point, but no. It crushed me. And then we get into the Manon Fiorot Jennifer Maia fight. Dan, what did you think about the Nicolau of the Dvorak situation? Pretty much the same thing.
You have a lot of unworked anxiety from this fight still. That's just like still in you. Like I've never seen Luke come in with so much vigor towards a previous fight card. I love it. It's great. I mean, not really for you, but
No, I'm very stressed out.
It's good content. It's good content.
I'm very stressed out. I'm very stressed out. It's like, and I really analyzed myself at the end of the night. I said, I'm a fan, and we got into this as fans. Like we didn't even want to do, for those of you who don't know, we started this podcast during the pandemic when we just weren't hanging out a lot and wanted to talk about the Ferguson-Gaethje fight. It was coming up. We said, let's get a Zoom call going where we just talk about it, have a few beers. And, we said, let's just make it a podcast. That would be cool. So we did. And now we're coming up on year 2. May would be our second. The conclusion of year 2 would be May 5th, I believe, May 6th, something like that. May 9th, maybe. It's when Tony Ferguson fought Justin Gaethje 2 years from that date. So that marks the end of year 2. But reflecting on it, it's like we started as fans. That's how I got into the sport, was as a fan and as an enthusiast, a hobbyist, essentially, somebody who wrestled, somebody who did karate, somebody who's always been a fan of the martial arts and practiced them when I always, I'm a lifelong martial artist. I'm a complete martial artist, striker, grappler. That being said, it's like we get into this podcast and we now start sports betting on it. None of us really bet on MMA, before doing this. We didn't use DraftKings or bet on MMA. Alex
I had never placed a bet in my life.
I had not bet on MMA, except I think I did a free bet on Khalil Roundtree at underdog odds and won it just because somebody was like, sign up for DraftKings and I'll get a bonus. I signed up and I bet on Khalil and I won, I think. And then I didn't bet again until we started the podcast. That was like the one and only bet I placed. And then, Alex, you were betting on European basketball. Other than that, you hadn't bet on MMA, really. So we start this podcast, and now we're exposed to the world of gambling. We meet Clint, we meet Manpreet, we meet James Lynch, we meet all these people who do expose us to the Saftics of the world. And now we're starting to odds and parlays, and then you get Gianni the Greek, and you get other people in our orbit, and we're like, okay, now we start to learn about what makes sense. And obviously, the show is the perfect parlay pursuit. Now, if you want to be like Gianni the Greek, you're never betting parlays. You're a statistician. You're an actuarial scientist. You're doing it that way. That's fine. That's whatever. We're doing the perfect parlay pursuit. We want to be right, okay? And that doesn't mean necessarily always looking for value or looking for, who we want to win, right? Like I bet on Chris Dawkins. When you saw that fight, that was a negligent pick. That was absolutely. We'll get to that fight, but that was negligent on my part. But I bet on him as a fan. I felt I should have gone down with the ship as a fan, and that's not right. I can't be doing that now. Now that I'm reporting to you guys to see about getting the right answer, the perfect parlay, I have to make sure that I do that. So I'm going to basically start telling you guys, look, Nate Diaz, I love him. I'm a fan, but he's fighting Khamzat Chimaev. The pick's Chimaev. I'm going to have to give you guys that kind of pick. You know what I mean? Not that they're fighting each other, but the fight was offered to Nate and he said no. So that's a support concern. You know what I mean? And I hate to say it, but everybody's scared of the wolf because I bet Khamzat Chimaev has a little bit more social media activity than Nate Diaz nowadays.
Well, listen, someone who's not afraid of the wolf is Neil Magny calling him out post-win. Khamzat Chimaev is already scheduled, and Neil Magny is lucky that he is because I think you'd probably fuck him up. Sorry for dropping the F-bomb on the YouTube channel, but that's how pretty confident I am with that. Neil Magny not looking good, and Max Payne's all right. If we're to hop into this one, but Max Payne relatively athletic, could surge in there and throw a right hand. But I don't know. I expected more out of Magny. I was wishing I didn't have to sweat that one as well so much. But I don't know. Maybe
if you remember correctly, Neil always does that though. He gives you a kind of competitive first round, and then he just keeps that pace going and he grinds these guys out. He did that in the Robbie Lawler fight, and seeing him tie George St. Pierre's record, that was amazing. It's like I remember watching the fight at my mom's house one time, and she said after he beat Robbie Lawler and almost got to the record of George St. Pierre, she's like, man, he's up there with George St. Pierre. Why haven't I heard of this guy? And it's like that right there kind of says a lot about Neil, about the state of the welterweight division. And I think a lot of people say Neil hasn't gotten the right opportunities. It's like, guys, and they're saying Khamzat Chimaev's getting fast-tracked. Here's the difference. Neil Magny was given an opportunity to fight for the title. It was in his main event fight against Michael Chiesa. If he had won that fight, boom, now he's in a different conversation. But he lost that fight. So what do you want us to do here? And it's Chiesa is being kept away. No, he's not, because he was given a chance against homeboy Vicente Luque. Yeah. And he lost. So what do you want us to do with him? So Khamzat Chimaev is just coasting along, doing what's asked of him, boom, making big waves, boom, fighting twice in 2 week span, back-to-back Saturdays, and then getting finishes and bringing it on. It's like, guys, what do you want from him? It's not and now he's fighting Burns. All people kept saying is, he needs to fight somebody ranked. He needs to fight somebody ranked. Well, finally he got somebody ranked because there's only one of you who's willing to do it. Because Wonderboy Thompson, he's busy trying to get a fight with George Masvidal, which is hilarious. It's like his whole thing is, I'm going to be Wonderboy. I'm super nice, and you got to be respectful, and you got to be a martial artist. And then you got one side of things, with Khabib saying, "Oh, nobody should fight Colby because he's going to call the police." And then you got the nice guy karate coach. "Oh, I want to fight the guy who commits assault allegedly." You know what I mean? In the name of some greater weird code that's not the penal code of the United States of America, which is the only one I respect. But you get what I'm trying to say here. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You got this fake honor in this sport that is cage fighting, and it's really not even cage fighting. It's like money fighting. Like it's just all about the money. You know what I mean? So it's like we get it, Wonderboy. You want to fight Masvidal for the same reason everybody wants to. I bet you'd fight McGregor too, or Diaz too, right? Because like you just want a lot of money. Okay, just say that. Like stop with this whole everything's about honor and respect and blah 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 blah. Like.
Well, he's got to find an interesting way to actually make the money, right? To actually sell the fight, because like right now they're both down stock fighters. So,
but the thing is, he's not even doing that. Like, you know what I mean?
I know he's trying. He thought that was his only route to like make it like an honor thing, and like, oh, maybe that'll generate. But like, no, like you're saying, like it doesn't work. It doesn't really.
Like
work.
he just thinks that we're all idiots. Like, you know what I mean? He thinks that like we're all like stupid, and we just want to like make these matchups that make no sense at all for people, and then they want to also have this kind of like faux moral. It's the same John Jones thing, you know what I mean? It's like this faux moral compass thing, but then it's like, but then I'll go and do business with somebody who represents the absolute opposite of that in a lot of ways.
You know what he should do? This is the angle, okay? He takes his karate students on a trip to Masvidal's house, and they TP it, right, on Goosey night. They TP Masvidal's house, but he still gets that like nice guy angle because it's through the lens of a karate coach. And it's like, but like he's kind of dissing him, you know. He's TPing this guy's house. That's the perfect. But you can't go all in on the nice guy, or it's all about the honor. No.
This might be something for the.
Listen, let's just watch how the court case plays out before we start making fights for Masvidal. All right,
trying to help our boy out.
Well, what I'm saying is, if you want Wonderboy Thompson showing up with these karate boys, I mean, it's going to look like Scarface with a bunch of schoolboy children and Masvidal wielding the hammer, okay? It's not going to be good, okay? Florida's a stand-your-ground state. Man's house is his castle there, okay? You don't want these schoolboys getting mowed down in Masvidal's front lawn. He's back against the wall right now, okay? He's back against the wall. And so we shouldn't have that. But I'm just saying, man, it's like everybody wants to act like they want the money fight. I just want to see Khamzat Chimaev run through all of them. You know what I mean? I just wanted to see him beat Wonderboy, beat Masvidal, beat Burns, and it's like even Diaz. You know what I mean? Or I just at least want to see that fight happen, because at least then it's like, okay, like Diaz, you want your last fight? They offered it to you, but why wouldn't you take that? It's like, they're disrespecting me. It's like they are disrespecting you. They're disrespecting you. Yeah, you get it. They're disrespecting you. Do you want to get out of the UFC or not? You fought Leon Edwards. How much scarier is Chimaev than Edwards? And also, why don't you want to fight him? He's cool as shit. Like you see his YouTube channel, it's like. He's a cool figure like you. Like, if you wanted to fight Masvidal, you wanted to fight Showtime Pettis. Or Showtime Pettis now. I guarantee you, Khamzat Chimaev is going to be a way bigger star than Showtime Pettis is, and you fought him. He went to the PFL, got his ass whooped. It's like, what's your weird, like, you know, things? Like, do you just not want to lose? You lose almost every fight, yes? It's like you lose almost every fight. You can't be afraid of losing. Are you afraid of damage? You take damage in every fight, you know?
I think it's the way he would lose in the Khamzat fight. And Alex, because he would just get taken down and it wouldn't even be interesting. At least with the Leon Edwards fight, it's like they're standing. He has opportunities to do his thing, which he did. But you know, it's not interesting. It's not exciting if you just get mauled.
I think Khamzat would try to knock this out. Dude, I think Khamzat would try to knock him out.
Yeah. I mean,
just give him a fight with Conor. Like, why not?
Why not? Because they can't have Diaz walk out on a win over Conor McGregor. They need to have him as contract, and Diaz won't up his contract probably. He won't up it. He won't up the fights on his contract to get that fight. So they're gonna be like, all right, if that's how you want to play ball, you can fight Khamzat Chimaev or you can fight Brock Lesnar. We're bringing him in. We're bringing Brock out of the cage for you, Nate. He'd say yes, but the thing is, you know, it's like, all right. So how do we even get on that topic? Jennifer Maia, you know, that's another example, guys, of like value, yeah, but who got their hand raised? So
let's talk about the real value fight on this card. Sara McMann plus 180 going into that thing. What did I tell you, boys? What did I tell you? Rosa, not athletic, not moving around, not being able to get away from the takedown, not stronger, not more explosive. Sarah, and then if you didn't believe me, look at the weigh-in. Sara McMann came in there looking like a little mini Brock Lesnar. Jack, I don't care. Who cares if she's 41? Does she look like she's 41? No. Come on.
When I saw her post that picture with Sara McMann, Carol Rosa posted that picture with Sara McMann, and she had like around her, and she's like, "No sad stories, parabens." Dude, I literally had so many mean comments typed up, and like this is the difference between me and the trolls in the comment section. I will type them up, and I won't hit send. Like I'm like, is this who you really want to be, Luke? And I'll erase it, and I'll be like, but I will type it, and I get it all out there. And I was like, I wrote one. I was like, she's 41 years old. Why didn't you win? I was gonna say like you're from Brazil, like you got dominated on the ground. This is not. But then I had a Brazilian fan in our Discord translate the comments from Portuguese, and it turns out the Brazilians were already saying everything I wanted to say. They were saying everything I wanted to say, and in a language she can actually understand. So I was like, you know what? Job done. I don't need to say anything. But they lit her up, man. The Brazilians were like, don't be smiling about this shit. You're a grappler. You got fucking out grappled by this 42-year-old lady who like is a part-time bag lady at the Costco. It's like, no, dude. She's on her way out the door. Sara McMann's on her way out the door. And it's sad that most of our Olympians work at Costco. It is sad.
First of all, they don't have bags at Costco. Anyone who's actually ever shopped at Costco would know that. They just give you their garbage, and they're like, oh, this is how you take out the stuff that you just bought. You know, this really bulky shit that's like going to be really hard to get out? Here's our garbage. You could use that. No bags.
You're right. I don't shop at Costco. I'm a Wegmans, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods guy. I live in that world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Upper middle class. So, all right, any other fights that we need to talk about? Alex has been quiet. I know he's itching to get into the breakdown of next week's card. I mean, okay, I definitely have to mention our boy, Chris Gutierrez, getting that spinning back fist elbow KO. Alex, call Jaquise, get Chris Gutierrez's number. We got to get him on the podcast. He came out there, lit this guy up. Spinning back fist KO, you know, put him to bed. And, you know, that's a dog that we picked, and I'm proud of it. Who picked?
I didn't pick him. Alex picked him.
I picked Chris Gutierrez, but
yeah, Dan, you picked Storm over there. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was one of my three. And he had a moment. You know, he just I should have seen that coming too, because Gutierrez, unlike Rosa, good on his feet, good lateral movement, hard to hit, and clearly Dana Bacalariel or whatever, he's just a headhunter who's coming in, and yeah, like he's got a quick right hand, but it's loopy, and for a guy like Gutierrez, as he proved, for the most part, he could get out of the way and, you know, land his own shots. I mean, he got clipped, I think it was like the second round or something, but he's also a tough dude, right? Stemming from a Latin American guy, whatever, Spanish American, however you want to call it. He's got a good chin. So it all kind of added up that he probably would win that fight and at an underdog value. So missed out on that one, but good fight.
Yeah, so basically, here are my big three losers of the card. Vladislav Borz, all the wincing and the lack of effort and the lack of knowledge. I mean, at one point he did this horrible he did a move that wasn't a wrestling move, and I just remember saying out loud to the people in my apartment, I was like, that's not even a move. And then DC was like, oh man, see, like DC like commented on it too, and they were like, yeah, DC just said what you said. I was like, yeah, I know. Me and DC can see very clearly, as could a first grader, that wasn't a wrestling move. To have that little wrestling experience and be from Russia, you should be ashamed of himself. I expect a lot. I'm not gonna bet on him again, but man, I'm gonna be really selective where I use Vladislav Borz moving here on out. I was disappointed. That was very disappointing. So he's pretty much number one for all the wincing he did. Rosa's number two, but only because I don't really expect a lot, like out of a young MMA women's prospect, big favorite. I expect them to do exactly that, disappoint, and show us that, no, there are holes in my game that I just haven't shown you yet. It was horrible. You know, it tells us nothing about the future because Sara McMann could slide off the cliff in any minute now. She's getting up there. She's 42, almost, years old. She looked great, of course, but once you get into the 40s, guys, I mean, there's a steep drop-off point. And
she already has slid down the cliff. She had like 5 losses in a row at one point or something.
And then, Rose is out here promising to get better. I'm like, I'd almost rather you not. I'd almost rather you just stay right where you are. That would make my decisions easier. I don't want to have to anticipate if you're going to try next time. I don't want to have to anticipate that. Like, keep not trying. End up in a wheelchair because you're in cage fighting and you're out here phoning it in. But, I was very disappointed in that. But honestly, number 3 has got to be, and we'll skip ahead a little bit here, Bryan Barberena. Bryan Barberena. I mean, he was fighting an opponent with gray hair. His opponent had gray hair. That's indisputable. It's undeniable. Matt wasn't using touch of gray. He wasn't using just for men touch of gray. That's gray hair because he is over 41 years old. Matt Brown is called the Immortal because he already retired in 2017. And that's 5 years ago, guys. And now he's still fighting. And Bryan Barberena, this is a guy who he's on the last fight of his contract. And he said, oh, they didn't call me about like renegotiating yet. I've asked, but they haven't said anything. It's like, yeah, Brian, they were waiting to see if you were going to be able to get this 41-year-old guy out of there for the Cleveland fan base, or at least go down yourself for the Cleveland fan base. But instead, you did the worst case scenario, a fight that people were calling fight of the night, fight of the month, whatever the hell. That was a boring ass fight. People were like, oh, you should show your friends that fight. They were like, you should show your friends that fight if they don't know the sport. And I'm like, I would never do that. That is the opposite of what I want my friends to think. First of all, Bryan Barberena's got his fingernails painted. Don't have time to explain that. Second of all, Matt Brown has gray hair. He's got 19 losses. Bryan Barberena's got 8 losses. It's like, yeah, that's what I want. I want to let them see that the Ultimate Fighting Championship encompasses a 41-year-old guy with gray hair and 19 losses. And it's a split decision against a guy 10 years younger than him. That's what I want my friends and family to see. No, I was embarrassed of this fight. I was embarrassed of my behavior during this fight because I needed Bryan Barberena by finish. And by need, this is a fucking Hail Mary parlay that's like one of the only ones left after Borishev went down and after Borishev, Souza, Dvorak, and Maia. The combination of those 4 incorrect picks led to me being pretty much out of the money entirely at this point. But I took a long parlay, Kai Kara by finish, Bryan Barberena by finish, and they both couldn't get it done. Kai Kara was plus 700. Bryan Barberena was not plus 700, I don't think. But either way, it's like split decision against Matt Brown. Horrible look, horrendous look. I will say this: 10 out of 10 post-fight speech afterwards when he was like, the crowd's booing him. He's like, I am just like you, Columbus, Ohio. I'm a blue-collar worker, and I'm going to go back to my farm. Like, that was perfect. He knocked that out of the park. I'm not saying he won them over, but he settled them down a little bit. He let them know, I'm a patriot, and the great steal will not occur under my watch. And he was letting them know the big lie is in full effect. And Anthony Fauci, he was going off a little bit, But
did he really say that?
No, he didn't say all that, but it was. It's called dog whistling, Dan. I'm sure you've heard of it. Come on, do you even watch CNN? Dude, come on, it's called dog whistling. He was dog whistling to the crowd. When he says blue collar, we know what he really means. When he says he's going back to his farm, come on, it was dog whistling. So that aside, horrible performance. He better get back to that farm because I don't think he's gonna have a job in the UFC very much longer with a performance like that. If they're going to re-sign Sam Alvey, though, they should re-sign Bryan Barberena. They serve the same purpose, and I'd be eager to fade him.
They should have them fight.
Are they the same weight class? No.
185? Sam Alvey could get down to 85.
But Bryan Barberena is at 170.
Oh, that's right. They're 70s.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure they should meet in the middle at 185. I think I'd take Bryan Barberena in that fight. By split decision.
I might take Sam Alvey. I think
I would go Sam Alvey.
Yeah, Bryan Barberena, he clearly doesn't have finishing power anymore. He's not taking out Matt Brown. Sam Alvey coming down a weight class is going to be impossible to knock out for Bryan Barberena. I think Sam Alvey's got 1 or 2 in the tank that can take down old Bam Bam. Yeah.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see what they do with him. I'm actually very eager to see it. At least he's done that. There's interest around this because he is somebody who, I like. I like where, from a gambling perspective only. From a fight fan perspective, no. But from a gambling perspective, I like guys like this in the rankings, in the roster, because you know what you're going to get at the end of the day. You know what you're going to get. I bet the podcast on this fight. I said, if Bryan Barberena loses this fight, you guys should unsubscribe from this podcast. And I said, if anybody picks Matt Brown, you should unsubscribe from their podcast because it's negligent. It's negligent behavior to do so. You're betting, and if they would have told you this, they would have said it's going to be Matt Brown by a greasy decision because it's Columbus, Ohio, and it's his hometown, and they're going to give it to him. Well, what did we get, guys? A split decision. It went to decision, and it didn't get tipped in Matt Brown's favor. So even the situation, sometimes these situations, like, all right, if this, then I'm going to bet it. But it's like you get that, and then you bet it, and you're still wrong. Like, I'll never forget Mike Perry going in there and looking so good in his last fight of the UFC. I think it was like against Tim. No, it was against the Dirty Bird.
Tim Means?
Tim Means, yeah, right? And I'm like, I'm going to take Mike Perry only if I see him looking focused, looking in shape, good weight cut. And that's exactly what we got. He looked great. He was focused, talking about his kid, all this stuff. And then he goes in there and loses. Tones it in and loses. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop letting my lying eyes deceive me, as Johnny the Greek would say. But you just can't statistically go with a 41-year-old guy with gray hair who already retired 5 years ago. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any sense. So Brian Barberina did get the win, but he made it harder than it needs to be. Glad he did, because now I know fade Brian Barberina in his next fight, if he even gets one. But yeah, I really wanted to go through that with a fine-tooth comb. Kizraev against Chalulin, I want to touch on that really quick just to say that Chalulin at plus 700, never let something like that slip by you guys again. Yeah, this guy, Kizraev, is good, but you take those types of sprinkles all day because, let's be real, like, Kizraev was getting cracked a little bit in that first round. And yes, it was short notice. I think you take Chalulin first round or bust, and then you just, if you want. That line was out of control. We're getting out of control lines, guys. Don't be fooled. You're going to get rug pulled with these lines. Going into this weekend, wait till we hear some of these lines we have this weekend. You're going to get rug pulled in a couple different areas. Got to be smart going into next weekend. All right. The only other thing I want to talk about is Kai Kara France. Heroic performance. Amazing. Everybody had him dead to rights. But again, as that line moved and moved and moved, I'm sitting here going, okay, this is a sport where anything can happen. This is a sport where people are surprised. And Kai Kara France is nobody's fool. And he's been looking really good lately. And if you can go in there and beat the shit out of Cody Garbrandt easily, make it look easy, Askar Askarov has at least something to be worried about. And Askar Askarov has a chicken jaw. His jaw is a chicken jaw. It's very small. Small head, small chin, small jaw. It's not like, it's not like a pentagon. It's more like a diamond. It's not. So I was like, Kai Kara, if he hits him hard, he could rock him. He could drop him. And maybe he doesn't finish him, but it could look kind of like Jack Shore versus Morvaliev. And that's exactly how it kind of looked. I mean, I think Askarov still won. In my view, like from what I saw, I was very surprised to see Kai Kara get his hand raised. But Kai Kara did clip him in round 2 and in round 3. I guess you have to give him both those rounds.
Yeah.
Dan. Is he's timed out or something?
I don't know. Yeah, I have no clue.
While he's timed out, I'll just say one thing about the main event, and that's Chris Daukaus versus Curtis Blades. I should have seen this one coming, guys. For some reason in my head, I didn't think Daukaus was going to have such a physicality disadvantage. I mean, that was embarrassing. When you saw these two guys up, it looked like they pulled a fan from the audience, and then Curtis Blades is like a true athlete that probably could succeed in NFL or NBA. That's how it really looked. I mean, Curtis Blades looked like a 5-star athlete compared to a fan, a beer drinking fan. I mean, and he said, no disrespect, no shade, but he should go down to 205. And that's true. He's like, just because you weigh 245 doesn't mean you should be fighting at 245. And it's like, I'm not even saying that he maybe just be a 220-pound heavyweight, but get yourself in shape, Chris Daukaus. That is not – he looked like he had a lot of donuts. You know what I mean, Alex?
Yeah, on the police force, they love a lot of donuts. I had Curtis Blades. I haven't seen the knockout yet, but I did see that Curtis Blades called out Gall. He said, if I see Francis Ngannou taking you down and holding you down, I'm licking my lips. Yeah,
he did say that. And he also wanted to fight Stipe. He said, I sparred Stipe, and he got the better of me, but I think I can get him now. He was making things interesting, but you know what he said that really shot himself in the dick? He said, if I'm Ngannou, I'd bounce. He's like, I'd bounce. I wouldn't stick around. It's like, dude, okay, I'm not going to say you're scared of Francis Ngannou because you fought him twice, and I know you'd fight him again, but that's how it kind of sounds. It's kind of like, I hope he leaves. And let's say that's not how you want it to sound. Well, that would mean that you want it to sound like you want Francis Ngannou to turn the gun on his bosses, turn the gun on the promotion, walk out as the champion. How the fuck is that going to make you look in the eyes of Dana White and Sean Shelby and Hunter Campbell? They're going to be sitting there looking at you like, yo, yeah, we're going to put our belt around you so you could do what you've always dreamed of, what you keep talking about. Oh, I'm going to need more money to fight John Jones. Oh, Francis should leave. Francis should be paid more. It's insane. It's like, dude, get a clue. Dan, we're talking about Curtis Blades saying that Francis Ngannou should bounce from the UFC. And I'm saying that how does that look in his post-fight press conference interview? He said, or his interview with Errol Hawani, I think he was like, Francis should bounce. And he said in the past, like, Francis should get paid. He should be allowed to go box. And I'm like, how does that make him look in the eyes of his bosses who are looking maybe to put a title belt around his waist? And then he's sitting there saying things like against the promotion.
Yeah, and he was already in bad with the company. Like him and Dana were already beefing because he puts on boring fights to a lot of fans with the wrestling, and he doesn't get the bigger fights. And so he apparently bitched about that to Dana. Dana went back with what I just said. So he doesn't even have good standing to bring up a point that doesn't even make sense to anybody. So it's like, yeah, I wonder why you said that he should bounce, because you lost to him twice. He knocked you out 2 times. So that only makes sense, I guess. But even then, it's like kind of a not very masculine move, to be trying to push the guy out.
I said that I'm not going to say he's afraid of him. He fought him twice, and I'm sure he would fight him again. But this is how it's going to come across. And if it's not how it's going to come across, it's going to come across the first way, which is you're basically siding against the promotion in your own division at a time when you are going to be looked at for a title belt opportunity, and you're sitting here saying, yeah, the champ should take the money and run. He should turn the gun on everybody and say, fuck you. It's like, is that what you're going to do? Is that what you've always dreamed of doing?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, it's like, well, I guess you're not going to get an opportunity to be in his shoes.
So, yeah, I mean, I think in a card where you have 3 lady fights and one of them in Jennifer Maia almost gets the finish, and you have Fiorot coming in limping up on the stairs to the weigh-ins and kind of like giving everybody cause to pause. Then you have McMann, upsetting the party and Rosa not doing her job. I think in a fight night like that, when you see Grasso go in there first round, submit Joanne Wood, that kind of makes you think like, okay, there is hope. All can be right in the world in a sense, right? So that was kind of the last thing I wanted to say about this one. Besides Kai Car France, you can give us your take on Kai Car France, then the main event, and then we'll take everybody through UFC 270. I went 273. 273. What am I saying? 273.
Yeah, Kai Car France, one of the dogs I had going. I think he was at like plus 300 or something like that. Mainly because I mean, Askar Askarov, obviously a great fighter at the top of the flyweight division, which is kind of out of nowhere become one of the more exciting divisions here. But I didn't think his wrestling was super, super dominant to the extent that a guy like Kai Car France couldn't possibly get away, land his own shots, and have the more effective shots like on the feet, as far as the striking is concerned. So listen, it wasn't like a slam dunk guarantee like I had as far as a feeling for Sara McMann. But that was my lean, and that's the way it played out. So especially if you're going to add the value of plus 300, I thought that was the way to go. So Alex, did you see any of the fights?
I did not see a single.
Why don't you tell the people real quick? I'm sorry, but why don't you tell the people why you didn't see the fights? Because it was MMA related. So
yeah, I was at a local show watching some guys I train with fight. It was a great night. Met Andre Petrosky, had a great time. So it was a big fight-filled night for me. A lot of local guys on the scene, a lot of brutal knockouts. It was a great night.
That's cool, man. I'd like to go.
Didn't get knocked out, so that's good that he wasn't one of the brutal knockouts. That wouldn't have been fun. Did he come away unscathed? Did he come away feeling good?
Unscathed, dude. Basically the guy was just sniffing his crotch the whole time.
What was the food and alcohol like? What were the prices? Was there food available?
So I just snuck into the VIP section, and they just were giving me free drinks all night. I didn't pay for any VIP access. I just walked right in. I acted like I owned the place, was just getting drinks fed to me the whole time. It was a great time.
They have good food?
I didn't eat there. I ate beforehand. I ate at Shenanigans in the Poconos. Great establishment.
Okay. All right. These are the questions I need to know when we're talking about live events,
Oh, yeah.
For sure. So did you mention that you met some UFC fighters?
I did.
Fantastic. Yeah. So hopefully we can get those guys like on the show or something like that. We always like to – I would love it if we only ever had Jersey, Philly region fighters on the show. We could keep that streak going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. They're the best.
All right, let's take everybody through. This next week's card. What do you say? UFC 273, Volkanovski versus Korean Zombie, Chan Sung Jung, which I think is a better name than Korean Zombie. Chan Sung Jung sounds like Chang Sung the Sorcerer from Mortal Kombat, you know. But this is going down in Jacksonville, Florida. Minus 800 is the Tapology odds on Volkanovski. It's ridiculous, but he should be getting kind of Shevchenko looks in matchups like this when you consider Chan Sung Jung got finished by Brian Ortega, and that's a common opponent for Volkanovski. He dominated him all 5 rounds, had him, everywhere he wanted him, and still couldn't get him out of there. Ortega. Not to mention he's coming in a couple of years younger. I think that this is just going to be a slaughter. I think that Volkanovski wins it any way he wants. I'm going to probably play Volkanovski by finish, so I'll keep it quick. And what do you guys think about this one?
Yeah, I love that Volkanovski by finish. I think it's all day. I think Chang Sung Jung. I mean, he's only on a 1-fight win streak. Dan Ige, and he's gotten finished by a lot of other people. I think Volkanovski's going to go out there and finish him.
Yeah, these first 3 fights I think are pretty easy plays, pretty sturdy parlay pillars for what we're doing here. Got to go with Volkanovski. It's real simple here. Is Chan Sung Jung's jiu-jitsu better than Brian Ortega? Like, is he going to submit him like out of nowhere with a twister? No, probably not. Is his striking better than Max Holloway's? No, definitely not. So if Volkanovski can not only weather but just completely tackle those storms, I think he could absolutely do the exact same thing against Korean Zombie. So get it while it's hot. It's at minus 550 now. So Alex Volkanovski.
Yeah, but once the props come out, we'll just take by finish. I think that he steamrolls him. I think he just marches straight forward and just executes him. Like basically just like straight forward up. And I think it's going to be a TKO. I don't think it'll be a pure KO, but this guy is he's in over his head here. And Volkanovski's got a lot to prove. He's always fighting with a chip on his shoulder. You love to see that from a champion. So, I mean, speaking of guys with chips on their shoulder, both these boys are coming in with mountains. We got Aljamain Sterling. He's taking on Peter Yan. And, wow, we're going to get some boos for Yan because they were booing every Russian fighter. I mean, he had 2 Russian fighters, Shalulin and Aliskamov, fighting, and both these guys getting booed. The Ohio
with the USA chant.
Shit in USA. You love to see it, but not when – Not now. It's so funny, Dan, right? Like me and you, like we're no Ruskies over here. We're no communist supporters. We're no anti-patriots. But it's like for some reason when I hear the anti-Russia sentiment from American people right now, it's a little annoying. It's like, okay.
Well, it's stupid because
you're paying attention.
There's the obvious thing. There's the obvious thing where like they're not the ones invading. They're clearly not invading because they're here. They're fighting. They're doing the job that they had beforehand. And also, you're just kind of feeding into the propaganda, that inches us only closer towards nuclear war, which, whatever. I don't think anyone wants that. Not to bring a damper on this thing, but
yeah, we'll talk about that in uncertification. Sorry, we'll talk.
What are you gonna?
Go ahead, Alex. Final thought.
What are you gonna boo Alexander Ovechkin if he scores a goal? Like it's unreal. That's not cool.
He plays for the Washington D.C. Capitals. I hope they do. They better boo him. Be consistent, if nothing else.
I'm sorry. I thought we were on the Patreon. Actually,
No,
I was in Patreon mode because once we started the card, but we are not. And so, if you haven't subscribed already to the Patreon, this is a nice little reminder to please do so. And we will talk about some other fun stuff, and it will be a good time.
Exactly. The uncensored prelims, predictions, and much more on the Patreon. We got crypto picks. We have shitloads of fight bets that we're putting in there. We post all our open bets. Had a $3,000 parlay hit. So get into that Patreon. It's definitely profitable for you so far if you're tailing our picks there. Entertainment purposes only, not financial advice though. So try to sue me. It's fine. It's fine. Disclaimers up the ass. So, but yeah, the receipts are all there. I mean, it's all there for you to see. I don't delete anything. So, all right, let's get into it. So start Aljo versus Yan. I'm going to make it simple. Peter Yan goes in there, finishes him, makes it look ugly. Aljo, best bet is to not take this fight because you pissed him off, and you don't want to piss a guy like this off. You gave him a loss on his record. It's not going to be good. No mercy. Aljamain gets no mercy this weekend. We saw everything we needed to see in that first fight. Aljamain's best bet is to go out there and absolutely put a swarm on him. Peter withstood that swarm the first time, and Aljo was absolutely gassed afterwards. Aljamain's had nothing but surgery since then. He's been ducking this fight. It's not going to go well for him. Aljamain gets finished. Peter Yan inside the distance. That's my play.
Go ahead, Alex. What do you think?
Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain Sterling is going to go out there and win yet again. He's going to do it any way he can. It doesn't matter how he gets it done. He will get it done. Aljamain Sterling wins this fight.
All right, I'll be the this deciding pick here. The best bet to place in my mind is one that's already happened. All right, I'm not going to go against Peter Yan, who clearly won the fight, didn't technically win the fight. It's as simple as that. Peter Yan.
I mean, I will say this though: the judges did have the fight scored for Aljamain at the moment of that knee.
Are you
serious? I'm dead serious. I will agree that it wasn't looking good for Aljamain at that point. There was a lot of time left, and he seemed to be fading fast. And
what round was that? Third?
Fourth.
What? I don't remember it like that at all. I thought he was dominating in pillar to post.
Well, the rule actually, I believe the rule is that if you commit an illegal strike after 2 rounds have passed, you go to and the fighter is unable to continue, and it is ruled unintentional. Now, Jan's strike was ruled intentional because his corner called out for the knee and he did it. That's why it was ruled intentional in the moment. But if it was ruled unintentional, then, which I believe it should have been, because that's even more unintentional. If your corner calls out for it and you do it, then you of course think it's the right thing to do because you are trusting their vantage point. There's a bunch of them. So if it's unintentional, it goes to the judges' scorecards, which Aljamain would have won because he was ahead on the judges' scorecards at that point. But I think you have to give at least one of those first 4 rounds to Yan, and I think he was going to win 4 and going to win 5, so he would have won the fight. I agree with you. But at that time, you can only look at the evidence that you have.
Huh. I guess I got to rewatch the fight, but I'm still sticking with it.
I think it would be worth a rewatch. I rewatched Covington versus, because we're not big tape guys here. But we promise you, except for Alex last week, only because he was at a live fight. But our butts are in our seats every Saturday. We're watching every single fight, beginning to end. And that's a hard, fast rule with my family. With everybody knows that about me. My friends. There's been very few UFC events in my life that I've missed, and the few that I have, one comes to mind. The last one probably was Carwin versus Lesnar, St. Pierre versus Hardy, that mega card. I missed it for a party. I was in high school. There was alcohol and girls on the line. That was the one thing that pulled me away from it. And guess what? I watched it Sunday morning. I bought it. I recorded it on my TiVo. I went back Sunday morning and I watched it. So it's like, it wasn't the same though. I hated it. I hated it knowing that I could just fast forward through all the fluff. I like the fluff. I like sitting out moments in between the fights. I like the advertisements. I like all of it. So I'm gonna be planted in
the pageantry.
Yeah. So we watch every fight. We don't need to go back and rewatch them. We remember what happened. We don't need to. And I'm not saying I won't do some tape study, but the last time I did it was Covington versus Usman too. And I went back and that tape study convinced me that Covington definitely had a chance to win this fight. And he did, but he lost. So a lot of good tape study does you. Peter Yan's the pick. Alex is taking Sterling. It's not triple certified. I'm very surprised. But actually, I'm not because he picked Sterling last time. And Sterling won. So got to ride the horse that got you there, Alex. This next one, I hope we have a little bit more unity on. I hope we all remember what happened last time. Mackenzie Dern taking on Tisha Torres.
Whoa, you're skipping one.
I am?
You're going by the Tapology. For some reason, it's got a weird ordering.
Okay. Sorry, let's go. We got the Wolf, Khamzat. No, it's here. I refreshed the page. I refreshed it. We're here. Burns versus Chimaev. 10-0, 10 finishes. All-Stars MMA. Judge Andreas Neres. He's down there with Darren Till. The only reason I might not bet on Khamzat Chimaev is because he's hanging out with Darren Till, and that guy's the kid of death. He's a curse. He's a bad influence. But it seems like Chimaev is such a strong-willed person that he's just influencing Darren and making him a better person. I'm taking Chimaev. It's everything on Chimaev inside the distance. It's everything on Chimaev by finish. I'm literally going to, whatever I get in my paycheck for my commission check, The entire commission check is going on Khamzat Chimaev by finish. I'm making my biggest bet ever. Khamzat Chimaev by finish. Khamzat Chimaev inside the distance. The biggest bet I'll ever place in my life. I don't know how much it's going to be yet. I got to check to see what the check clears after taxes. But Uncle Joe, I will beat your inflation and I will beat your taxes with Khamzat Chimaev inside the distance.
Yeah, I'm going to second that. I am not going to do any like round picks or anything like that, any fight props, because I've been dog shit with that. Okay. I had Alexa Grasso going the distance, and I had Matt Brown and Brian Barberina ending in a finish. Easy play, not even like, oh, under 2.5 or what. Like, no, finish him or go the distance for a lady fight. Both didn't work. I had another one that was messed up. So I'm just going to go with all that being said. Khamzat Chimaev for the win. It's going to all be parlayed. It'll all be worth it. Guy's a special talent. Might be the most special talent the UFC has seen in a long time.
Elbows. He's going to hit him with the elbows like this. This is how he's going to get him on the ground.
Yeah, Khamzat Chimaev all the way. A pretty easy pick. Triple P certified. Mark it down. I don't know. Gilbert Burns is very tough, but I think Khamzat Chimaev finishes him.
All right, let's move on. Let's blaze through because we got 13 fights to break down. We just gave you 3, and it's been an hour, guys. So let's go because it's a break week, and I'm having a little beer here. I'm gonna upload this to the Patreon tonight. We're gonna give them some hours, and I think we'll just go through the full card right now, put it all on the YouTube, and give you YouTube guys a little preview of what you're missing out on the Patreon. But we got Mackenzie Dern taking on Tecia Torres, the Tiny Tornado. Now this fight I'm super interested in, guys, because we all know in Mackenzie's last fight, she burned me. Okay, I had a 9-fight parlay go, and I was set to win $3,400. Mackenzie won. I was out of state. I couldn't hedge, nor did I want to. I'll be honest. I really thought Mackenzie was going to be able to win that fight because I didn't think her opponent had any ground experience or any ground game to speak of at all. And I thought Mackenzie working with Jason Perlow would get the guidance she needed, would get this fight to the ground, and would get the sub. Now in the second round, she had full mount. Now I can't. What do you want from me? I mean, she proved it's just like Corey McKenna, who should be working at Mark Henry's pizzeria. We got the phone number. We're going to call, and we're going to get her that part-time job. But it's just like Corey McKenna. You prove you can take somebody down, but then you don't do it. You prove you have a path to victory, and you don't pursue it. You want to have a learning experience in there. You want, and even Jason Perlow said at the end of I think round 3, he was like, okay, so we took that round off. We got to get in there and win this one. And she was like, yeah, totally. Mackenzie Dern's lazy. Mackenzie Dern's entitled. Mackenzie Dern, for a young girl growing up in the favelas of Brazil who made her way to America, I would expect more of a work ethic. But Mackenzie Dern is not much of a Brazilian to me because she doesn't represent the true Brazilian work ethic and the true Brazilian spirit of grappling first, jiu-jitsu first. She forgets her jiu-jitsu and thinks that she's a barroom brawler in there. She forgets her jiu-jitsu and she gets in there and it gets into striking matches. She thinks she's a Ronda Rousey. She thinks she's a Ronda Rousey, and it's I don't like it. I love the Tiny Tornado. I love the Tiny Tornado. I think she is one of the best fighters in the fucking division, and she's going to go out there and steamroll Mackenzie Dern. She's going to fucking smoke her. I hope to God that's what happens because I can't afford to be burned by Mackenzie Dern yet again. But she's not going to submit Tiny Tornado. Tiny Tornado is too athletic, too strong. She's not going to get caught in a fucking knee bar or some bullshit. She's going to hit Mackenzie Dern with knees, punches, and elbows to the face, shin, neck, and chest. And I think she beats her up.
I was pretty heavy on Mackenzie Dern, but you might be onto something here, Lukey. I think one thing that really stands out is, although, yes, you have a lot of red on the Tiny Tornado's resume here, all of them, or none of them were finishes. None of them were submissions. And we got Marina Rodriguez, Wiley Zag, Ioana Jędrzejczyk, Jessica Andrade, and Rosie Almendares. None of them were able to finish her. So it's going to require Mackenzie Dern to make this a 3-round affair, a grinded out fight. Someone with a work ethic would be totally fine with that. But like you say, I don't know if she's all in, on these fights. So I don't know, man. The line is pretty close. I think Tiny Tornado is a slight favorite here. I thought that was kind of recency bias because she's got, it's coming off a couple of wins and Mackenzie Dern's coming off a loss. I thought that's why there was that little discrepancy, but I don't know. I'm rolling with you now, Lukey. I'm giving you my trust on this. I'm going with Tiny Tornado Tecia Torres, quadruple T.
Luke, the reason she doesn't have that Brazilian work ethic is because she was a girl who grew up in the Midwest who wandered her way into the favelas. That is why she now reps the Brazilian flag. She is not very good. Tiny Tornado is going to run through her, cut through her like a hot knife through butter. I think this is an easy fight. Triple P certified. Let's go, Tiny Tornado.
Yes, Triple P, Double T. I love it. You guys just made my day. I mean, like, I was a little bit worried I was going to get some pushback on this one. Triple P certified, Tiny Tornado. Let's be the.
It's going to be a happy night with the dogs, dude.
Yes, let's be the smart
He's a
marks.
favorite.
No worries. We can break down this. We don't really need to break down this one. It's a year Latifi versus Alexi Olenik. We already broke it down. We Triple P certified Latifi last time. It's going to be no different this time. But I'm interested. Does anybody know why this fight was postponed?
He was sick. He had like a stomach.
Who's
virus.
this?
Latifi.
Oh.
Something was in the beefarino.
Because, Latifi does train with Khamzat Chimaev. So that was kind of why I wanted to ride him here. But you know what, man? Olenik has, like, these big swinging fucking fists that he just slings out there sometimes, and he might just knock Ilir Latifi out. So I think no matter what, I'm going to pick Latifi, but when we get to this fight, I'm going to hedge on Olenik by knockout.
I'm not going to hedge on an outcome, but to your point, he's got a 5-inch reach advantage, and I think it's longer, dude. Like, every time Latifi gets on the scale and I see him flex, I'm like, I don't want to bet on that guy. I don't want to bet on the guy that has arms like half of my arm, and I'm not John Jones out here. So, dude, I don't know. I might be swayed on this one too. I think that Alexi Olenik might have that, just like, the length of the arms to sink some of these submissions in.
Yeah, this is like a no bet situation for me.
And it's going to be on the ground, and if it's not, then I think the reach advantage of Olenik comes into play here, because it's not like Latifi's a striker. He's going to be out there. He's got no reach. Olenik's going to be gorilla arming him. He's going to be racking up points.
People forget he comes out fucking fast.
Yeah.
And Olenik comes out slinging, like rocks on ropes.
Yeah. It might be a good play. It might be a good
You guys
play.
are crazy.
Latifi, like, who are his quality wins? He's got nothing.
I trust his gym. He did beat Tanner Boser. I was excited for Tanner Boser in that fight, I think. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's not looking good. But has Olenik done well against Ozdemir, Anderson, or Lewis? It's not like he has, He lost to Lewis. He lost to I don't know.
The only guys he lost to, besides Ozdemir, are champions. Jan Blachowicz, Gregor Musasi, Corey Anderson, Volkov, and almost Derek Lewis.
All right. My pick's Latifi. Alex, I'm assuming you're sticking with him as well. We can move on. We already broke this down. Next, we got Aspen Lad. Damon, you're going to switch over to Olenik, though? You're going to untriple be certified Latifi? What's the line?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Also, Latifi's moving up to heavyweight. He's a small little heavyweight. I think that Olenik has been dealing with a bunch of Derek Lewis types. I think this is a good play. I'm sticking with it.
All right. Aspen Lad taking on Rocky, Raquel Pennington. Man, it's a fight that, I would kind of like to take Rocky, but I really liked Lad's corner getting in her ass in that one fight. I liked to see that, I liked that they were like, a lot of people they didn't like that. I liked it. I like to see that. So 6 years younger. She's an underdog, 5'6". Pretty equal in reach. I'm going Aspen Lad here, guys. It's going to be an easy choice.
Yeah, Pennington is fading, I feel like. I know she's got some recent success, but Aspen Lad, just too young, too much more athletic. I think that she does everything that Rocky does better. I think this is a pretty easy play. I'm going to ride with Aspen Lad here.
Dude, I mean, I got burned on Rocky last fight. I was big on Macy Chiasson. I had the house on Macy Chiasson. I thought she was going to win. She faded. She got guillotined. Oh, my gosh. Guys, I want to go against Rocky. I'm gonna go against Rocky. I'm gonna take Aspen Lad. I think I have to take Aspen Lad. All of my theories tell me the younger woman will win. And I already took an older woman tonight in Tisha Tour. I think the household is gonna split 1-1. There's gonna be one half of the house happy with the dogs, the other half of the house sorrowing. But I gotta go against Rocky because she has to fade at some point. Yes, her only losses are like Holly Holmes, Jessie Andrade, Amanda Nunes, Durand, me. You know what I mean? Like I want to go with Rocky. I can't go with Rocky. I'm sticking with Aspen Lad.
Yeah, I think you're right for that. We Triple P certify Aspen Lad here because at the end of the day, Rocky is you can't stay hit, right? Like she hit us hard with that Macy Chiasson fight. She hit us hard. We should have known better because, and you know, this is the prelims. This is a little peek into the uncensored Patreon prelims prediction. And I'm gonna say something. This is gonna be a little not safe for work here, but Rocky's the alpha lesbo against Macy Chiasson. She's the alpha. She's the absolute alpha. So you know, that's just facts. And we should have seen that coming because she's a little bit more seasoned, a little bit more out and about, a little bit older. We should have known that. We should have known she was going to give her the big sister treatment. I'm going with Aspen Lad because Rocky, it's going to be a lot of pressure for her going in there. Like Alex said, you know, when her and TT get back, the dogs are going to be looking up and they're going to be like, did you win, Mom? And TT's going to just kind of like look and she's going to be like, come on, dogs. You know,
don't make Daddy feel bad.
It's the dogs might get kicked, Alex. You know what I mean? Like she might kick you. There's an expression, kicking the dog. Rocky might come home and kick the dog. You know?
Yeah. Hopefully Tisha gets a fight of the night or something of that nature just to lift up the house a little more.
Yeah, Pennington's got 8 losses, and I just don't think Lad retires with 8 losses. I think Lad's got a higher ceiling. She's got a good coach, and her coach is going to get in her crawl. You know what I mean? And I want to see him in her crawl from bell to bell.
And quite the opposite with
last time was bad. You thought last time was bad? I'm a drill sergeant is in town.
And both of these ladies, both of their corners have been under fire for making them stick in the fight. I hope that they're both so worn and beaten that both of their corners have to get in their ass again and tell them both to stick in the fight. And the ladies maybe just go out there and call it a draw. You know what I mean? So we can all go home with our heads held high.
We should have a lot more draws in MMA as far as I'm concerned. You know, and as far as I'm concerned, the next fight is scrumptious. You know what I mean? Ian Garry versus Darian Weeks. I mean, I think the odds are scrumptious in the sense that, like, hey, if you're gonna pick a heavy favorite out of all of them, like this one at least is still at minus 350. Like I think Volkanovski and all these other odds, you know, Jan, Maia, Volkanovski, it's outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous. So you got to spot your dogs where you can. And I like Torres. There's a slight dog if you can get her. I like Lad as a dog. And Garry, I think, is a stable favorite. I think Garry snipes this dude out. I think that this is a perfect tailor-made matchup, just like we saw with Paddy the Baddy. You know, let's see. Darian Weeks lost to Brian Barberine in his last fight. It's all you need to fucking know.
Yeah, there's a reason why this fight is on this card. It's not to showcase Darian Weeks. Ian Garry seems to be the real deal. Loved his striking in his last performance. I'm just looking up real quick the name. I totally forgot. Oh, Jordan Williams. Not too long ago, UFC 268. Just seems like he has an understanding of like moving around in the octagon, getting off, getting his own advantageous angle, and just bang, a piston right hand, just like right in the perfect spot. Very, very Conor McGregor. Okay, it's a little bit more than just their nationality here. I think he's got that precision striking that'll definitely work against Darian Weeks. And like you said, Lukey, minus 350, not too tall of a price tag to pay. I'll go with it.
Yeah, I'm also taking Ian Garry here. As Luke said, Darian Weeks lost to Brian Barberena. You saw how bad he looked last week, and I didn't. But what I hear is he almost lost to Matt Brown. As far as I'm concerned, Ian Garry is one of the most stable picks on the card. And next up, we have Marcin Tybura versus what's his name? Rosenstruck. Danny, who do you have in this one?
Yeah, so I actually have Ian Garry and Marcin Tybura and a couple other fights on this card on a futures bet that is alive and well. Okay, I had Alish Kebab, Khrushchev, Brian Barberina, Alexa Grasso, Curtis Blades, and Latifa got scratched out, but those all hit. I got Ian Garry, and now Marcin Tybura coming up. I got him at plus 105. I believe he's somewhere around there still. And I think he's really the play in this one.
It was supposed to be Driscus Duplessis versus Anthony Hernandez, Fluffy, but we'll get to that after this. Just to let everybody know that we just so it's addressed.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. But Tybura. Rosenstruck, we know his deal. Like, he barely throws any volume. He doesn't know how to win on the judges' scorecard unless he gets the knockout, which he really doesn't often do. Again, he's just not active enough. He has too much invested in his kickboxing. He thinks too highly of it that, like, oh, I'm going to find the perfect shot. It's like, this isn't kickboxing anymore. It's a completely different, like, ring here. It's an octagon. They're cutting corners on you. They're moving all around you. Tybura has an iron chin. He's going to be really hard to knock out. He has an understanding of the game. He has a great ground game. He can take Rosenstruck down anytime he wants. I think this is an easy dog play, small as it may be, but I really love Marcin Tybura in this fight.
Alex, what do you think?
Luke? Well, I think the same thing as Dan. I think Marcin Tybura is going to go out there and get it done. If he can go out there and get big hitters like Walt Harris, Greg Hardy, Ben Rothwell, all those guys, he's clearly put something together since the days of getting knocked out by Derek Lewis. So I think Marcin Tybura is going to go out there and get it done with some wrestling.
Dead wrong. I think that Biggie Boy gets the knockout here, gets the finish, puts it on him hard. Guys, you're not aiming where Jairzhino's at. Aim where he's going to be. He went fucking 5 rounds of Curtis Blades, dude. Or sorry, 3 rounds. He went 3 rounds of Curtis Blades, didn't get finished. Went 3 rounds of Ciryl Gane, didn't get finished. Put Sakai out in the first round. Put Junior dos Santos out in the second round. And yeah, fluke-ass loss to Ngannou. I really feel bad for him about that fight. I mean, Ngannou coming in there swinging like crazy, that was bullshit. Like, I really feel bad for him in that outcome. That was bullshit. I would have loved to see that fight get going a little bit more. Even if he gets knocked out by Ngannou, that's fine. But I would just love to see that fight get going a little bit more. But I think that's a decision win that completely derails Ngannou's whole fucking life if that doesn't go like that. If he just is able to get out of the way of that tornado at the beginning. I don't think Ngannou has too many of those, like, that he's gonna throw. I don't know. I just think I don't like that outcome. But Marcin Tybura, like, I just think that you got to aim where the fighter is going to be, not where he is. And I think Biggie Boy is not going to get taken down and held down by him. I think that he's gonna find himself in a kickboxing match for at least a few minutes of this fight. And Tybura is not nearly the kickboxer Rosenstruck is. Alex, you always say he's got over 90 wins as a kickboxer. I'm taking Rosenstruck as a slight favorite. I'd love to get him as a dog. I hope the fight kind of moves around a little bit here, but I'm taking Rosenstruck for the time being. But yeah, I'm not going to be able to give you guys the Triple P certified pick there, but maybe I can help you out in this next fight because Anthony Hernandez is coming off a win and he's taking on Driscus Duplessis. I think that the line's a little inflated here. I think Fluffy Hernandez should be the favorite, and he's 28 years old. He's got more UFC experience as far as I'm concerned. Let's see if he actually does. He just coming off that win against Adolfo Vieira about a year ago. Great win. Yeah, he lost to Kevin Holland, beat Jung Young Park, who we're very, very high on here. The Iron Turtle, who's going to be fighting very soon. Very high on here. He beat him. Yeah, he lost to Marcus Perez, second round anaconda choke. Before that, no contest against Jordan Wright. On the Contender Series, Brandon Allen has a win over him. That was a headlined LFA card. So, yeah, I mean, I'm really impressed with Hernandez. I think he gets a bad rap. Driscus Duplessis, he's definitely really talented. But Trevin Giles, Marcus Perez, other than that, it's like no UFC experience. I think that this could be a lot like what we saw in the fight with Slava Claus, the guy with 2 UFC fights, and we're really high on him. Give me Hernandez at underdog odds. I just got a feeling. I can't explain it.
Well, if your theory of betting them not where they are but where they're going to be holds true, I think this would be the fight. Dricus Du Plessis, I think, is going to be a long-time contender in the UFC. Doesn't have a lot of UFC experience. This is going to be his third fight, I believe, but he was like a big-time KSW guy. Like, there was really, really big fights, with him centered around it. I think he's got a ton of experience over there. We got a lot of good fighters from KSW coming to the UFC. And it's not like Slaviklov, who he's this guy who's not physically imposing, stands there before the fight with his hands behind his back, just kind of smiling. And we're going off of one nice little body shot where the whole fight before that, Dakota Bush was kind of taking it to him. Like, we've seen Dricus Du Plessis be a freaking animal in there, just all over everybody. A lot of volume, a lot of wrestling, just physically overpowering people. And Fluffy Hernandez, I think, he's a fun fighter. He's a fun, scrappy little guy. The submission of Vieira was fun, but I don't think he has the technical skills nor the athletic ability to take on Du Plessis. So that's where I'm going to go.
You know what's really interesting, Alex, before you speak? Dricus Du Plessis originally slated to fight Chris Curtis, and Hernandez originally slated to fight Albert Duryev. Now, for some reason, I picture Chris Curtis and Duryev to be like these bigger guys than Du Plessis and Hernandez. Like, I pictured, for some reason, I'm like surprised to see that Hernandez and Du Plessis, they're middleweights, but also Chris Curtis and Duryev, like, it just doesn't feel like any of those guys should be in the same weight class. I don't know what I like am thinking here, but basically, these guys are both supposed to fight opponents that I think are like a lot more dangerous. I mean, Duryev, I think, is a lot more dangerous than Du Plessis, and Curtis, I think, is a lot more dangerous than Hernandez. So it's really interesting. Man, I'm sad to see Kelvin Gastelum versus Nasruddin Imavov is off. That was one I was excited for. Pat Sabatini versus Gavin Tucker, off. Tucker withdrew. And Aspen Ladd, the other fight, she was supposed to originally fight Irene Aldana. I think Rocky Raquel, she was helping TT get ready for this fight, guys. So I don't really think that, like, she's, in a position to be stepping in on short notice with all she has invested in her spouse already. So, yeah, just wanted to point that out. But, Alex, your pick, Hernandez versus Du Plessis.
Yeah, I think DDP is just going to be too big. He's probably going to knock out Anthony Hernandez. Anthony Hernandez has a loss to Marcus Perez, who is absolutely terrible. So, yeah, I think DDP might make quick work of him.
I felt dirty about this pick. I'm going to switch back. It's DDP. I want Hernandez to get the win. I'm a little gun shy from the Slaviklov situation. But, yeah, it's DDP. Triple B certified. I'm sorry about that, guys.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Mickey Gall versus Mike Mallott. To me, it's Mickey Gall here. I mean, all things equal, he kind of finally got himself an opponent that's at the experience level, that he should be really fighting at. Mickey Gall kind of got thrown into the fire quick after those 2 wins against CM Punk and Sage Northcutt. He gets thrown into the fire. Now he's going against guys like Mike Perry, guys like Diego Sanchez, Alex Morono. That was a close fight. I really liked his performance against Jordan Williams. I think this is a bounce back fight for Mickey Gall. If you look at his record, I mean, it's like since the Sage Northcutt win, it's been loss to Rude Boy, win against George Sullivan, loss to Sanchez, win against Salim Turiani. And hey, Sanchez looked good against Kevin Lee, right? Lost to Mike Perry, win against Jordan Williams, lost to Alex Morono. So he has literally been lost, win, lost, win, lost, win. This is going to be a win. Mike Malloy is getting beat by the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu New Jersey Academy guy, Mickey Gall. We love the Jersey boy. Mickey is going to win. Team Alpha Male. They were training Super Sage too, babe. Man, they were training Super Sage too. This is going to be a fight where Mickey Gall wins.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Mickey Gall in his last couple bouts. Even the ones where he loses, he shows that his striking is getting better. And
plus 150 underdog, guys. Plus 150 underdog, Mickey Gall.
Oh, nice.
That's like a Paul Craig. That's like a Jack Shore. That's right there. That's our spot this week.
Yeah, we know his jiu-jitsu is great. And if this kid's like an alpha male guy, we could probably safely bet that it's going to be on the ground at some point in time. So I do have to do a little bit more research on Mickey Gall's opponent here. I didn't know that we're doing full card breakdown because we got, 2 weeks and all that. But I do like Mickey Gall going in against a guy with little MMA professional experience, let alone UFC experience. I think that's a bit of a slight to Mickey Gall. So right off the bat, as far as not seeing the other guy, I'll go with Mickey Gall.
And guys, yeah, feel free to make your picks. Guys, we're 2 weeks early here. We thought we had Manpreet today. And he was like, "Oh, it's a break week. I'll be there." So we're gonna bring Manpreet from MMA Lock of the Night to you next Monday. We'll do a main card breakdown, and then the prelims will be back on the Patreon. These picks are definitely subject to change. We're gonna do some tape study, even though we just admitted we didn't do tape study 10 minutes ago. But Dan sometimes does. I know Alex does. I sometimes do as well. So we'll do some tape study. We'll review some other podcasts. We'll see what other people are thinking, and we'll bring some more refined picks to you over next Monday. I mean, we'll see kind of where the wind's blowing, who we want to fade, who we want to like give a little bit of a tip of the hat to. But we got 3 more fights to break down for you. Enjoy these free prelims picks because it's only going to happen every so seldom, often blue moon, every once in a blue moon. But right now we got Julio Arce versus Daniel Santos.
I still haven't given my pick. I'm taking Mike Mallott. I am not letting this be PPP certified. I saw Mike Mallott's fight on the Contender Series. This guy's a hammer. His only loss is to Mean Hakeem Dawadu. So he's got some experience even before he was in the UFC, fighting high-level guys up there in Canada. Mike Mallott is a hammer. I think he's going to go out there and destroy Mickey Gall. There's a new pretty boy in town, and his name is Mike Mallott.
Yeah, he looks like a Cobra Kai kid.
Oh,
It looks like he should be way younger than 30. He's older than us.
Yeah.
This baby face.
But the same age as Mickey Gall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're like 30, Dan. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's older. I'm 29.
Oh, okay. And you saying he's a baby face?
I'm saying that he looks a lot younger than he is. I'm saying that he's older than us. He's 30.
All right. Well, next, listen. Come on, man. Just get yourself in order, okay? You need to look a little bit younger, maybe. Maybe you need to lay off. Maybe you need to lay off some of the fast food. What have you been eating lately?
Me?
What kind of fast food have you been eating?
A lot of salads. Lunch, salad, lunch every day.
I had a burger on Saturday and a burger on Sunday for dinner. I had Five Guys on Sunday, and I had a place called Elevation Burger on Saturday. And Elevation Burger is 100% grass-fed. It's very comparable to Five Guys. It's a few key differences. But when I had it on Saturday, I said, this is rivals Five Guys. That's what I said to myself out loud. So then I said, you know what, let me get some Five Guys. So I got Five Guys delivered, Uber Eats.
The same day?
No, the next day. So back-to-back nights, though, Saturday and Sunday night. Got a milkshake and fries. Burger, milkshake, and fries at Five Guys. It was fantastic.
Well, if it rivals Five Guys, it's got to be good. Did it come in tinfoil?
I don't remember.
Not authentic. I don't know. That might be a strike.
All right. Well, next we got Julio Arce, Daniel Santos. Julio Arce is a moderate favorite here. I don't know. I'm kind of interested in the underdog. I think it's kind of dog or pass as far as I'm concerned. Julio Arce coming off a loss. He's got a 5-year age gap between him and his opponent, the plus 170 underdog Daniel Santos, Wiley Cat. Wiley Cat's going to come in here. He hasn't fought since 2019. That's the biggest red flag, but he's young, and he's got some experience. Yadong Song whooped up on Daniel Santos. He just beat Marlon Moraes. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I think Julio Arce actually is probably going to win. I'm looking at his strength of schedule. He's got a higher strength of schedule here. His opponent hasn't fought in 2 years. Julio's been active. Tough call, but I'm going to go with Julio Arce.
Yeah, I like me some Julio Arce. I think he's got a pretty strong strike of the schedule, like you said, Lukey. A New Jersey guy also. We got to throw that in there, of course. We know we rep in Jersey all the time. Another one of these fights, I do have to do a little bit more research on his opponent here, Santos. I'm not a big fan of the Brave FC guys. I can't even really recall like someone that was really dominant coming out of Brave FC. I mean, you guys, I don't even know, right? So, guy's not coming from the best promotion of all time, and Julio Arce is a proven veteran. So, as of now, I'll go with Arce, but subject to change in the next couple days.
Yeah, Dan, I couldn't agree more. I don't really like any of the fighters coming out of Brave FC. I feel like they all are a little rudimentary in their skills. I'm going with Julio Arce on this one, PPP certified. It'll be. I think this is another sturdy piece of the parlay. We're splitting in the household. We're splitting in Jersey. Mickey Gall loses. Julio Arce wins.
All right. Next, we got Kay Hansen taking on Piero Rodriguez. Oh, sorry, that's actually one down. We got Vince Pichel taking on Mark Madsen. 11-0 Mark Madsen, 14-2 Vince Pichel. I don't like Vince Pichel as a favorite here. You're giving me Mark Madsen at underdog odds. Even with everything going on in his personal life, I'm still taking Mark Madsen. I think it's going to motivate him, inspire him, get everybody going. Inspiring performance from the Denmark wrestler. Mark Madsen over Vince Pichel by decision. Thank you very much. What do you guys think? I know what you're picking.
I'm riding the opposite end on this one. I like Vince Pichel. Vink Pichel. Marco Madsen just does not seem like a fighter to me. He seems like a wrestler in a fight. He's not out there like really landing any deadly ground and pound or punches to the side of the head, having a good position there. He just kind of wrestles and wins off decision. Vince Pichel, on the other hand, this guy's a dog. You don't want to go into a fight with a guy like Vince Pichel if you're not down to fight. Pichel has MMA grappling chops. He can handle himself in there enough to, get himself to the fence, get himself up, and keep on restarting, landing blows up against the fence and otherwise. So I like Vince Pichel here. When it's a fight, you pick the fighter, not a wrestler.
I'm going Mark Madsen here. Gregor Gillespie kind of manhandled Vince Pichel. I think Mark Madsen can probably do the same thing if he's an Olympic caliber wrestler. I think Mark Madsen gets it done. Unanimous decision. They both fought Austin Hubbard. They both had very good success against Austin Hubbard. I'm rolling with Mark Madsen here.
Fantastic. Yeah, sorry, Dan, not gonna be able to endorse your opinion there. But we got Piero Rodriguez versus Kay Hansen, and I'm getting fraud vibes from Kay Hansen. 7-5 versus 7-0. To me, this is her walking papers. This is her third fight in a row that she loses, and I think Piero Rodriguez can get the win because she's at that right age range, right? She's 29. She's not too old, not too young. Whereas Kay Hansen, a little too inexperienced. I feel like this chick goes out there and big sisters her, whoops her ass. I don't know, man. I don't know too much about her, but if she's coming off the Contender Series, I do remember watching her fight against Tina Black. And I'm going with Piero Rodriguez. I watched their fight in a hotel room. It was very entertaining. And I think she smacks Hansen around a little bit.
I didn't see that fight. And Kay Hansen is obviously super inconsistent. She won her first, lost her last two. In all those performances, there's many, many holes, as you'd expect from a very young fighter here. So, I'll roll with Hansen just based on UFC experience, but this is only the third fight of this card. I really don't have a lot of basis on their opponent. So those three fights, you can expect some sort of analytical, if not outright change from me.
I probably won't put any money on this fight whatsoever, but I'm fading Kay Hansen. I think she stinks. We saw how bad Poppins did in her last fight. She got out wrestled by a Canadian. I think Piero Rodriguez, if she is any good whatsoever, she can go out there and win.
All right, now let's go through a couple important points before we give you our full card picks. This week, we gave you a little charitable donation. We gave you our full card breakdown for free on the YouTube channel. Now, if you're paying attention in the Patreon, we donated a lot of the first month's Patreon haul to the Ukraine. We had a friend in Poland. Essentially, he was harboring refugees in a hotel, and a couple of them were regional champion boxers. We sent the money from the Patreon to the Ukraine. Now, we are going to send the next 10 members who join the Patreon, the next 10 members who subscribe to the Patreon, we're sending your monthly fee for the first month to Poland, back to Colton. He's going to invest in some boxing equipment for these regional champion boxers. Basically, these people in Poland, they're there and they're harboring refugees. These kids are innocent in all this, guys. So political opinions aside, the kids are innocent. And, we've had plenty of success in the Patreon. We've been putting picks in there. I gave you guys 2 parlays that hit 3 weeks ago, one for 1,000, one for 2,000. The $2,000 one, I think, was a $10 bet. I mean, this is crazy, guys. We're profiting like crazy in the Patreon. Go there and subscribe. If you're one of the next 10 to join, we're sending your money straight to these Ukrainian refugees in Poland, these little regional champion boxers who want to pursue their dream and box and knock each other out and world star hip hop each other in the streets on the cobblestone. Let them bludgeon each other half to death. It's hilarious. So that being said, we're going to go through our full card picks, give you our bets, and thank you very much for your support of the Patreon. We're using it to improve this podcast, but also we understand, pay it forward. We're going to donate some of the money from the Patreon, and we haven't taken a dime of it yet, guys. We've sent the first months to the Ukraine. We gave rebates. We've done a lot with this. We're giving a lot back. Thank you very much for the support. But this is all just to make the show better. We're looking at hiring an editor. We're looking at making some NFTs for some live events that we're going to do. We're doing a lot of things, and your support helps every step of the way. So we'll see you in the Patreon. This is a little taste. This is your free full card breakdown because it's early. We're having a couple beers. Dan has now researched all the picks. As he said, Alex, we had to do the recap. He didn't even watch the fights last week. We're a little disorganized, but we know you're going to be in a content drought, so we want to give you a full hour and a half here, a full episode for free on the YouTube channel. But like always, join the Patreon, join the Discord, get in the conversation. Either way, the Discord is free, the Patreon's a monthly subscription, but that's where you get all of our open bets. That's where you get all of our prelims picks. That's where you get the full PPP certified picks, which are 75% accurate, 73, 75, somewhere in that range percent accurate this year. In year 2, 145. Actually, I can tell you exactly what it is. It's we went 3 out of 4 last week, PPP certified, and so that means we are 148 out of 204. That is 73% accurate in year 2. Dan, Alex, and I all above 60%. Me and Alex 63, me 64%. 444 picks total given this year. I mean, we're doing phenomenal. Whether you're tailing the PPP certified picks, you're ahead. Whether you're tailing the Patreon picks, you're ahead. We are profiting. That is the bottom line. The receipts are there to prove it. And this week is going to be no different. Let's get in there and let's fucking aim for the perfect parlay. Ugh, I'm spitting mad. We went 6 out of 6, 6 for 6 last week, me and Alex. Dan went 9 out of 12. That was great for him. But I've rambled on long enough. Let's go through our full card picks, let you know what the payouts are going to be, and we'll give you the PPP certified picks. And like I said, we'll be back next Monday with Manpreet from MMA Lock of the Night for the main card picks. The prelims are going back on the Patreon, and some things may have changed, especially in the prelims. I doubt a lot of main card things are going to change, but some prelims picks very well may change. The lines are moving. We will see where everything settles next Monday. It's back to the Patreon. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. Dan, Alex, if you're ready, whenever you want to go ahead and list your picks out, that would be preferable.
All right, I'm ready. I got Volkanovski, Sterling, Chimaev, Torres, Latifi, Ladd, Garry, Duplessis, Tybura, Mallott, Arce, Madsen, and Rodriguez. Not all of them are on DraftKings yet, but from what is on there now, I think there's only 11. $10 wins you $7,450.50.
Sweet. All right. I will start from the top here. We're going to roll with Alex Volkanovski, Peter Yan, Khamzat Chimaev, Tisha Torres, Alexei Olenik, Aspen Ladd, Ian Garry, Dricus Duplessis, Marcin Tybura, Mickey Gall, Julio Arce, Vint Pichel, and Kay Hansen. We are missing the Olenek fight. We're missing the Aspen Ladd fight, and that's all, I believe. So $10 for me. Wow. Very slim pickings this week. $1,700, $1,733. Small winnings here, but that's what I got.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Dan. So I have Alexander Volkanovski, Peter Yan, Khamzat Chimaev, the Wolf, Tisha Torres, Yair Latifi, Aspen Ladd, Ian Garry, Dricus Duplessis. They switched me over from Fluffy. Jairzhino Rosenstrike, preventing the PPP certified. Other two guys have Tybura. Mickey Gall, Julio Arce, Mark Madsen, and Piera Rodriguez. The ones that are on DraftKings, we have 11 so far. That's Arce, Rosenstruck, Duplessis, Rodriguez, Madsen, Gall, Volkanovski, Torres, Yan, Chimaev, and Garry. Of those, the underdogs are Gall plus 150, Madsen plus 130. We got those are the two dogs, Gall and Madsen. I like those odds. $10 bet, like Dan, pays $18.63. They say slim pickings, but guys, when I hit my parlay, $20 to win $1,600, it was right in that range. So I like this. I'm locking this one in tonight. If you're on the Patreon, you're getting this early. And thank you guys so much for subscribing to the Patreon and helping support our show. Big things coming, big improvements, and thank you so much for being a part of the journey. Now, the Triple Certified Picks, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be Alexander Volkanovski, Khamzat Chimaev, Tisha Torres, Aspen Ladd, Ian Garry, Christmas Duplessis, Julio Arce.
Yep.
And you're not settled on K. Hansen versus Pierre Rodriguez. Check back in on Monday to see if that's going to be the 8th Triple P certified pick of the first of the night. But you picked her officially, actually, Pierre Rodriguez. Yeah. So that makes 8, right? Okay.
No, he picked Hansen.
Oh, you picked Hansen. Okay, so 7.
Are you talking to me? Oh,
Yeah,
no, I picked Hansen.
Oh, you picked Hansen. Okay, so 7.
Yeah.
7 Triple P certified picks for you guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Anything you guys want to say on the way out?
No, thank you guys for tuning
Rethink
in.
Mallott, guys.
What is that?
Rethink Mallott. Watch his fights. Rethink him.
All right, I'll rethink him a lot. I was just going to thank my fans, thank our fans tuning in. I'm a little sick, a little congested. Might not have been the best performance, but I gave you all I had, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. See us in the Patreon. See us in the Discord. See us on the socials. Thank you all for tuning in.
Love you guys.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Take care. You heard it all. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe and tap that notifications bell. Thank you. See you next Monday.